I might opt to go for the non-Ronaldo draft, but I'm not sure how much I'm liking that, so my hand could potentially be forced into a wildcard, guys. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video from A Man Talks FPL SC. In today's video, we're going through an updated Gameweek 4 team selection. I think an update was definitely warranted for the team selection for Gameweek 4 because with this international break has just been absolutely crazy. I've had two players now with yellow flags, niggling injuries, illnesses. We've had, Brazil and FIFA try to ban players in the Premier League from playing in Gameweek 4. So much stuff happening. There's so much stuff to have to consider. Is it time to press the wild card? These thoughts have just been racing through my head. I'm sure many of you guys out there also are facing similar dilemmas, so hopefully this video helps you kind of clear up your thought process as I share my own, and maybe it's something you can relate to as well when looking at your own team. Also, just a cheeky plug, I am actually now an affiliate with Fantasy Football Hub, so if you guys do want to get a little bit more into statistics, I did post out a game week preview kind of game week guide video earlier in the week, so definitely do check that out if you're looking to get a little bit more in terms of player stats. I also went through captaincy options there using stats from Fantasy Football Hub, so definitely do check that out. And if you are looking to use any of their tools, etc., there will be a link in the description below where you can get a discount as well. And as always, if you enjoy the video, really appreciate a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get into the Gameweek 4 team selection. So I won't spend too much time on how I went in Game Week 3 as I covered this off in last week's team selection video. So I scored 66 points, which is pretty decent. I had a Game Week rank of 1.3 million and I'm overall ranked at 450k, which to begin the season I'm pretty happy with. I think on average I try to set a target of around 1 million to a 1.3 million Game Week rank, because usually if you're able to do that for the entire season, that usually leads to a really good ranking. I can remember last season when I ranked 634. I usually had a game week rank around the million, maybe around the 700 to 800k. You don't have to always have those exceptional game weeks. You can just be pretty steady, but if you're consistently getting above the average, you can always do pretty well at the end of the day. So that's definitely something I'm happy with in terms of our start to the season. Now, this is how the team is currently lining up for game week 4. We've got Sanchez in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Kufal and Shaw in the defense, and all of them have pretty decent fixtures this game week, so pretty happy with that. To be honest, actually, the entire team has actually got okay fixtures for Game Week 4. In the midfield especially, Salah has Leeds, Fernandes has Newcastle, Son has Crystal Palace, Benrahma has Southampton, and Smith Rowe has Norwich. So I think all five of them have really great fixtures. Antonio has got Southampton, and we know that he's in unbelievable form at the moment. So to be honest, the opponent for him doesn't really matter as much, but obviously it's a good opponent. And then Tony has got Brighton, which is probably the toughest fixture I think one of my players has got, because Brighton is a pretty solid defense. Obviously, the two notable things to note here are the yellow flags on Son and also Smith Rowe. Son looks like he's picked up a bit of a calf strain in the international break. I will also caveat all of my transfer thoughts that the press conferences this game week are going to be absolutely crucial, especially for me, because Smith Rowe, apparently you had got some kind of illness, so he had to withdraw out of the England under 21. So him, Son, definitely gonna, they will definitely shape up my transfer plans heavily this game week. So I really need to get some concrete news, hopefully, out of the press conferences to help inform my decision making for this game week. I really hope that Son and Smith Rowe are both kind of cleared to play, because they weren't really factoring into my trade plans at all this week, but it would be a big curveball if both of them were out. So what I'll do is I'll show you my intended transfers before I got this news about Son and Smith Rowe, and what I will do is then show you my kind of updated plan if, say, Son and Smith Rowe hypothetically are both cleared to not play this game week. So the team that I've got here would likely have been my moves, if Son and Smith Rowe are both okay to play. I would have done Fernandes to Sarr and also Tony to Ronaldo, and Ronaldo would have been my captain for this game week. I just think Ronaldo against Newcastle, hopefully again, press conferences are going to be really, really important come Friday, because we're going to want to know, what's the likelihood of Ronaldo starting, or at least the chance of him playing some decent minutes. I highlighted in my earlier video from this game week. If none of you have checked that out, really do recommend checking that out. I went through a bit of a game week preview going through captaincy, and in that video I basically outlined why Newcastle is the best opponent to target, because they've been statistically one of the worst defenses statistically so far this season, and Manchester United have got the highest odds of goal scorers, and Ronaldo is top of that list. And I think he definitely is a bit of a flat track bully, so I think against Newcastle he definitely could easily get multiple attacking returns. So he most likely probably would be my captain if he ends up coming into the team with Salah as the vice captain. Salah is also a decent chance. I'll probably rank him second behind Ronaldo, as Leeds is also a defense that does typically give away a lot of chances, so someone like Salah could do very well in that matchup. So just wanting to highlight Son and Smith Rowe there. So Son has got a pretty tough matchup next week in game week 5 of Chelsea, and then Arsenal, bit of a tougher opponent you could argue argue as well, although to be honest, at the moment their defense hasn't looked very strong up until this point in the season. So my original transfer plan, from this team was game week 4, I would do Bruno Fernandes to Sarr, and then also Tony to Ronaldo. Game week 5, Leeds go into a very good run of fixtures for about 5 or 6 game weeks, so I really wanted to get in a couple of Leeds players. So Rafinha was top of my list. Obviously, he might be unavailable in game week 4. Again, press conferences are going to be really crucial for any Rafinha owners out there. But in game week 5, my plan was to take a -4 point hit. I would take out Son because he's got a pretty tough matchup against Chelsea. I would do Son down to a Rafinha, and that actually opened up enough money to go from a Perica, who's third on my bench, 4.5 million striker, who's not playing at all. The money created from doing that Son to Rafinha move would have allowed me to even go from Perica up to a Bamford or even up to a Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So that was going to be my intended transfers for game week 5. Game week 6 I was going to roll and not use any transfers. In game week 7 I had about 2 free transfers then to do something with my Liverpool players because they come up against Man City, as you can see there. So that was my kind of transfer plan for the next few game weeks, but obviously if Son and Smith Rowe are out, that's a big curveball and we're going to have to change it up a little bit. So what I will do now is show you my team if Son and Smith Rowe are both out this game week. So in this potential lineup that I might go with as well, I've done Son to Jota, Tsimikas to Livramento just because Tsimikas was blocking that third Liverpool spot, and then Smith Rowe would actually go to Sarr, and those 3 transfers would be for a -4, and that leaves 2.1 mil in the bank. Obviously the big downside is that there's no Cristiano Ronaldo in this lineup. Even if I wanted to bring in Ronaldo after making those other moves, Fernandes would then have to drop out and I'd have to go down to like another cheap midfielder and then upgrade Tony up to Ronaldo. By then we're looking already at like a -12. And when you get into -12, that's when you're thinking, should I actually play the wildcard button? I haven't played the wildcard button. My intention is to not do the wildcard if I can avoid it because I really feel strongly about wildcarding in game week 8. Because then I can capitalize on both the Chelsea fixture swing but also the Manchester City fixture swing. And also I just don't know if we have enough information, to be honest, to be wildcarding. Like I don't know who the best 4.5 million goalkeeper is. I don't really know, like Wolves for example, they posted really good stats, but are they a team that we can trust? So would I want to be going and backing in Wolves players? I'm not 100% sure yet. So I still think there are things that we can learn. How's West Ham going to fare with European football as well? So for me personally, I want to try to avoid the wildcard if I can. Obviously that would mean potentially sacrificing, not getting in Ronaldo for this game week. Obviously I will still have Bruno Fernandes against Newcastle, which is still obviously, we saw him score a hat-trick against Leeds in open play. So yes, he might not have the penalties if Ronaldo comes in, but he still could be really good. He still could be really good play against Newcastle. So this is one way I am considering going, taking out Smith Rowe and Son this game week. Also a bit of a mini wildcard, being able to bring in Jota as well. Again, press conference news, if Firmino is out for the next few weeks and it's kind of confirmed by Jurgen Klopp, then Jota automatically becomes, in my opinion, a fantastic option at his price point. He has amazing attacking stats and he could perform basically just as well as any other premium in the game, but it's only 7.6 million. So this is one way I am thinking about going. But if, say, all things go bad, there's no Son, there's no Smith Rowe, we get press conference news that say, Firmino's out for a week, so Jota is going to become automatically a really good option. Say we get confirmation in the press conference that Ronaldo is a very, very good chance of starting. There are plenty of things that might happen that might force my hand in potentially playing a wild card. So what I will get into now is a potential wildcard draft that I have come up with if I end up pressing the button this game week. So here's a wildcard draft I have come up with if just in case that WC button gets pressed this game week. So Sanchez and Steele would still be my goalkeepers because I usually try to keep the goalkeepers pretty cheap at 4.5. Brighton's defense is still pretty solid, so I'll probably just stick with Sanchez up until this point in time. The defense has changed a little bit. So obviously Tsimikas is out, and I've also taken out Luke Ayling just to create some funds. I've gone with Livramento and also Brandon Williams, so 2 budget defenders there. And I've got Shaw, Alexander-Arnold, and actually Christensen from Chelsea. I feel like on a wildcard, you really will probably want to be trying to get at least one Chelsea defender in my opinion, because I feel like Chelsea defense this year is kind of like what Man City's defense is going to be last season. So last season it was very common to have like your Diaz and Cancelo or like a Diaz and Stones. So you're trying to really capitalize on probably what is the best defense in the league. I think Chelsea are right up there in terms of their defense. I think starting with one on a wild card is probably a good move. Christensen is a bit of a rotation risk, but then with this whole Brazilian issue, if say Thiago Silva can't play, he at least is going to be nailed on for Aston Villa, and I would see that potentially is a really good game for a clean sheet. And then with that Luke Shaw price point of 5.5, it allows you to transition a little bit easier down the line to like a Reece James from Chelsea. So then you're well set up with a double Chelsea defense, which in my opinion is going to pay dividends, and you'd have a really solid set and forget defense of Christensen, Alexander-Arnold and Reece James a little bit down the line. Now in the midfield, again, pretty common players that you've seen. Salah is not going anywhere for me because I think he could be still a very good captaincy option in the next 3 game weeks. Jota, for all those reasons I spoke about before, I think he's probably the best of that kind of, your kind of mid-priced midfielders, if obviously we get some better confirmation that he has got a decent run of games. If that's the case, I think he's head and shoulders the best in that price point. You obviously have like Mason Greenwood, Ferran Torres. Torres, in my opinion, is a bit of a rotation risk, obviously. Well, actually, so is Jota and Greenwood, to be honest. And Greenwood probably has the most security just based on form at the moment, but we just don't know how he's going to be used with Cristiano Ronaldo coming into Manchester United. So I've opted to go for Jota here. Ben Rama is still in the wildcard. I have noticed that he hasn't been in a lot of wildcard drafts, which I find a bit surprising because his form so far to begin the season has been really solid. He blanked the last game week, but he scored 12 points in the last 2 game weeks before that as well. So pretty surprising to see that he's not been included on many wildcard drafts. I have got Traore there at 6 mil. I know I just spoke about previously, we don't know Wolves if they're a good team to invest in. I guess with your wildcard, you're looking to be a little bit more long-term, and Wolves' long-term fixtures are really solid. Obviously, at this price point, you could opt for like a Ismaila Sarr, as I mentioned, but I think Sarr's fixtures are better for the next 4, but in the long term, probably Traore is a better option in my opinion. Obviously, you could start with Sarr, capitalize on those good 4 game weeks, and then you could maybe, easily swap him out to a Traore if it looks like Wolves actually are a good team to invest in. And this draft also has 0.3 mil in the bank, so that actually allows you to go from a Ben Rama to a Rafinha in game week 5 if you're looking to get a Leeds asset basically from game week 5, because that's when their fixture run is really solid. So a Ben Rama to Rafinha move in game week 5 could also be on the table if you opt to go for this draft. And in the forward line, again, it's pretty common, Cristiano Ronaldo, Antonio, and then Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin, I think, is probably the best of those kind of mid-price strikers around that 8-point price mark. Just below him, I'd probably have like a Bamford and also a Jimenez. Also, again, great options if you're looking to save a little bit extra money. They're a little bit cheaper than Calvert-Lewin, but Calvert-Lewin has looked really good. His stats are far superior to both Bamford and also Jimenez. So I think Calvert-Lewin is probably the best one to go for if you can afford it. But say if you're really confident on Leeds, you very easily could go for a Bamford because he probably has better fixtures than Calvert-Lewin in my opinion. That would also create an extra 0.3 mil. That might also let you upgrade one of your defenders. You could even upgrade, say, like a Livramento up to a Ben White, because I think Arsenal have a really good fixtures as well for the next few game weeks. So, getting a Ben White in your defense probably would actually help bolster it, because Christensen could be a bit of a rotation risk. Ben White, in my opinion, is going to be nailed for Arsenal. If you save a bit of money going from Calvert-Lewin to Bamford, that also could be an option that you go with on your wildcard draft. So I know this video has been a lot of ranting and a lot of, I haven't really given any definitive plans, but I kind of, I just don't know yet what I'm going to do, because it really depends on press conference news. But ideally, if Son and Smith Rowe are past fit, I'd go back to this previous draft where I've got Sarr in and I've also got Cristiano Ronaldo as my captain. If, for example, they're both out, I might opt to go for the non-Ronaldo draft, but I'm not sure how much I'm liking that, so my hand could potentially be forced into a wild card, guys. So definitely stay tuned. I'll try to update as best as I can, say on like Twitter, what my transfer plans are, but it really is going to be dependent on press conferences. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and my thought process. Let me know in the comments below any questions you may have. And as always, if you enjoyed it, really appreciate a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.